Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to our broadcast, FYI family. Good morning. Kurt and Sheena and Leon Lord. Mandy is here too. Avril and Marcy, and I see Rhonda is here too. Rhonda Spencer Thumb. Let me just come out with some more because y'all don't talk to me. Y'all talk to each other in the comments. Y'all go ahead and say good morning and, pretend that I'm short. Pretend that I'm short. I always get people astonished at how tall I am. 6'2". Say, I thought you're a short man. I thought you're a short boy. Well, I'm not. Sorry to disappoint y'all. It's Wednesday, the 22nd day of October, and I'm just marveling of how close we are to Christmas. You all see the place getting dark fast. It's coming on to Christmas. You all start playing the carols as yet? Brian? You all start playing the carols yet? Deborah, Colleen, Grace, Alexis, Charmley, Richmond. How are you guys doing? Brian Daniels, good morning. Yvonne Meredith, good morning to you too. Deborah Clark, Margaret Andrews, all our favorite folks. Good to see you on the live this morning. We only have about 400 persons, 4 minutes in, 10 emojis. I don't want to look. Don't make me watch. Don't do it. Guys, good morning. Mandy Cummins says loud and clear. Thank you so much, Mandy. You see, big people, you don't have to tell me the same thing over and over and over. You just get right through it. Yeah, proactive. Right? Elizabeth is saying it's chilly in Sparkle City. She didn't tell me, she telling Margaret. And I'm her family. Is Margaret she telling? Morning, Toby, Deborah, Loretta, Vanessa. Good to have you all. Why wouldn't do for a cup of good coffee this morning? I like this Nescafe Gold. Oh God, they should send me a little something for that little shout out there. I like the Nescafe Gold. How many of you here in Guyana are you doing something for the Cancer Awareness Month? there's a walk coming up on the weekend. I invited some friends to tag along. I alone can be in pain, my ankle, my back, and so on. Carry along some folks with me. I invited some folks to come along on that walk. Let's share the pain together. Sandra Jones, Jeb Isaacs, Don Sullivan. Let's share the pain. Early detection. Early detection, yeah, is key. Raising awareness of breast cancer, cancer awareness, period. Please and thank you. Mandy's here, Karen Blair is here. Lynette Cox is here as well, and Siobhan. Good to have all of you here. Thank God for all of you. You all make the broadcast what it is. But I still can't believe we're almost at the end of the year. At the end of the year, Bernice, Fiona, all right, Lynn Fernandez, good to have all of you. We're coming down to the end of it. And if you're in that part of the Caribbean that is prone to hurricanes and such and so forth, you might want to keep your eye out. We got a tropical storm that is looming, Tropical Storm Melissa. All the Melissas I know a little, you know the kind of way? All the Melissas I know got a little fire in them. All. No exception. No exception. All of them. No? We got Tropical Storm Melissa to deal with. Tropical Storm Melissa said winds as high as 50 miles per hour and is expected to strengthen into hurricane. Yep, anchor down, folks. Anchor down. Folks in Haiti, right? Haiti, the Dominican Republic, even Jamaica. Right? They're talking here about life-threatening flood, life-threatening flash flooding, and mudslides. Life-threatening flash flooding and mudslides. Right? In places like Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Aruba, Puerto Rico. So let's be cautious. I've always wanted to go to the Dominican Republic. I've always wanted to go there. Do we have any folks from the Dominican Republic on with us here? I know we got Guyanese all over the place. Left, right, and center. Right. Left, right, and center. Elizabeth says she's wearing her breast cancer awareness scrub cap, pink gloves, sneakers all month in honor of her late sister, my late aunt. Yeah. Dread of disease. Yeah. How many of you like that? You're honoring someone, you walking to raise awareness, Yeah. Yeah. Sheila Boyd-Child says, DR, please represent. Right? Deborah Pearson here talking about carriage rip doll and curry pepper pot. Yeah. Some of y'all dangerous, Some of y'all dangerous. You all come out here to kill people. So our thoughts and prayers for all those in the path of Hurricane Melissa. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. You're anchored down and ride out the storm. When you're in a storm, that's what you do. You don't try to get outside taking photographs, saying with the beauty of nature, nature's fury. You better go in the bunker. Right. You all take care. Our thoughts and prayers with all of you. Again, this tropical storm Melissa, bad name Melissa, is expected to worsen into a hurricane. So we're going to keep our eyes on that, folks. Closer to home, 2030, the guys want to see a bigger production of rice and poultry. Now, is the rice better, Gummy? Because if we do the same things for the last 5, in the next 5, we're going to end up hurting ourselves. We're going to end up hurting ourselves. We had a good crop for rice, and then the people start complaining our beloved farmers start complaining that what the millers want to pay for the rice is like they're running a charity. It's like the farmers, the rice farmers, running a charity. And there's been no solid intervention from the government on this front. And we hear talks of the world market. Right? It's not a seller's market. That's what we're hearing. But that notwithstanding, a lot of rice locally is going to waste. A lot of rice. Governments say they want rice producers to produce more. The producers produce more. And then we don't seem to have the capacity for storage, for drying, for whatever it is. We don't seem to have the capacity for that. We have to have the capacity, you know. So that's why we saw this very interesting. And then we saw poultry gold, all noble, no doubt. All very, very noble, you know, all tremendously noble, right? But let's be hearing us loud and clear. But the other side of that, and we just hate when people calling us during the show because they clearly you're watching us. Clearly not watching us. So a lot of the poultry, for instance, we've told you guys before about this project the government undertook. You know, they want to impress CARICOM, and they got something called they had this initiative called 25 by 25. Wanted to bring down the food import bill by 25% by this year. I think we got the food import bill is high for the Caribbean, and so we think on this initiative here. We wanted to lead on this initiative here to bring down that food import bill. If you guys follow us, you see it's something we've been talking about for a little bit now, right? And so they started production in all these areas: brackish water shrimp and bow leg shrimp and Pacific white leg shrimp and shrimp research. And I do my own shrimp research and shrimp rearing. You try that. Poultry production and what have you. And interestingly, this is not us. This is Starbuck News. Starbuck News reached out to the administration to try to get a sense of what some of these numbers were saying, and couldn't get anything definitive from them about what were the yields of their efforts. They said that the data was not available. That's what they were saying. The data was not available, right? So when you're talking about expanding the thing, it's a little worrisome, because we've said in the issue of rice, the capacity clearly is not there, right? They had a good crop, the last crop, and then they fell down so miserably. It leaves much to be desired, right? It leaves much to be desired. So we're watching it, folks, and then you don't even have the numbers of what you undertook on the interim, and here you are quoting some big figures for 2030. It sounds nice. I understand it. That appeal sounds nice, but you could imagine chicken and so on, shrimp and so on spoiling the same way we had the rice. You saw people dumping rice and so on the Essequibo coast. Yeah, you all saw that. My God. So we got to get it right. Don't just say these things for just the PR. We got to move beyond that. So we're watching it. They say they want to do. This is Zulfi, cute Zulfi. 1 million tons of rice, 100,000 tons of poultry by 2030. Embarrass yourself again. Right now, you got a good rice production, and people still We showed you these tractors parked up outside of the millers on the Esquimalt coast. Rice spoiling, tons of rice that could come and be given out to Guyanese people, who in need like that, just being dumped because the price is not there, the storage capacity is not there. You got people around the world hungry. People right in this country hungry. Bernice, Marlin, Andrew, hungry, and we wasting food, But we can get it right. We're gonna get it right. I thought I saw headlines over the last 5 years that suggested we had solved all the water problems in this country, but alas, it's not so. Right. They said they're now going to improve water systems in school. That's what prayer really do all this time, man. That's what prayer really do all this time. What prayer really do? And you know what? Whatever is this thing between Priya and Sonia, my God, each trying to outdo the other, each trying to embarrass the other as they exchange ministerial portfolio. But Jack, you're wrong for that. Jack, you're wrong for that. You know these people got the feud, and you say to them, y'all exchange portfolio. What do you think will happen? What do you think will happen? And now they'd be too shame to switch again. To switch again. They'd be too ashamed to do it. And so they got to endure this. And it's not one of talking to. That's what we heard from our inside sources. It's not one of talking to. The schools. $412 million. Says nasty water, so we should drinking all this time. Dirty, contaminated water in region 2 and 3. That's what's been happening all this time. We've said this to them. Put up the photographs and all of that. But hey, listen. When you won't tell you, I trust you're happy now. I trust you're happy now. They're looking to expand storage and a number of other things, installing water tanks and drilling wells and so on. Jesus. The very basics. You've got some schools, the washroom facility not working, and you wonder about this $1 trillion economy. Have you ever wondered? Have you? Have you? One of the places is the Smith's Memorial Primary School. That's right in Georgetown. That's not Karasabay. It's not Tiger Pond. It's not Anai. All right, Shelton. It's right around the corner. Right around the corner. But we get it right. We're going to get it right. With that, I saw them commissioning a well. Folks, let me tell you all something out here this good morning. It's not the commissioning. It's not on the lines. According to Forbes Burnham, it's what between. It's how you can read between the lines. You hear me? It's what between the lines. We've been a potential over the weekend. I'm trying to remember the particular area. The people said they get well too. Well open there. I can find my notes. Right? Well open there. I like make my notes on these outreach. Skull City, see? Refer to my notes. Skull City. Water supply. Water shortage persists. Some homes connected to the mains, some are not. All right? Some are not. And then we are told the potential well only delivers new well only delivers water twice a day, and its capacity is insufficient. Hear this part. This is the kicker. We're talking about new wells, You see these flashy things? That's what I talk about. Flashy lights and cameras and the well painted, the blue, and all the grasses of the same height and so on. But you see, when you drill down, when you drill down in the thing, you find them wanting every time. Here the people told us the water problem with the new well in potential is worse than before. I'm telling you what the people said. Worse. And you'll see some additional reporting from me, because I did promise them I'll go back and take some more notes specifically to the well issue, the water issue. You gotta buy your own pipe, pay to install your meter. To get current, you gotta buy your own post. The fastest growing economy in the world. But I don't tell you those things. That things don't make news. You're welcome. You hear the well small and the problem is worse than it was before. I'm watching my notes here and telling you that. My Apple notes. Water shortage persists. Households not connected to the water network. New potential well only delivers water twice a day. The new well. And the capacity insufficient for the community. The situation is worse than before the installation of the new well. Worse. So you got to cook on a timetable. You got to wash on a timetable. Right? Black tanker economics in the fastest growing economy in the world. So when I see new well income is large, I'm not moved by that. I want to go and talk to the people themselves. I want to go and talk with them and hear if their problems have been cured. Because my experience, like in Skull City, says new well, hear me relief. It could mean the problem worsened. Only a government like this one could do that. Only a government. When the people say the problem is worse off, and it, Joy and James and Mandy, when they say JLG, when they say the problem is worse, I say you got new well, the problem worse. I want to make sure I'm making the right notes. That's where we are. You tell me that's governance. Huh? So, congrats to the government. That's what y'all like. Oh, y'all only condemning everything. Yeah. All right. Congrats. You build well. But does it solve the problem? Does it solve the problem? Does it? The thing is not adding up. The well costs are 1.3 billion. You all notice everything now. It's not millions anymore, Naomi, it's not millions. Look, Naomi talk about big bridge. That's all I see. Big bridge. Going into that area to get over to Region 3 over the weekend. A big long line. Back up on Heroes Highway. I thought we were supposed to fix that problem. I thought leadership was to fix a couple problems. The problem yet persists. 1.3 billion for the well. But does it help? Or does it exacerbate? Does it worsen the problem? People go on the run and they say, look, this thing is working here, man. This thing is not working here. You see? What are we going to do? I saw them talk about housing too. Now, this, I am drilling down into this. Personally, I'm drilling down into this because it's an area I'll be shadowing. You hear all these big numbers about land that the government is giving out. These big, huge, ginormous numbers. Right? House lots being given out. 50,000, 75,000. Then why are all of these people still crying out? for land. Something is wrong with that. That is my humble submission. Something is wrong here. And that's why we're drilling down. Because if we didn't drill down, we wouldn't know that what the government call land, some other people are called jungle. No infrastructure. Big bush. You gotta go chop bush. No road to get there. No drainage. No lighting. Just bush you got chopped. See? You're just a chopped bush. But, you see, you can't tell them, right? You can't tell them they didn't give out land. You see? You see that? You can't tell them they didn't give out 75,000 house lots. But again, it's house lots nobody can use. You know? You can't use it. You can't anything it. It's just there. What's the point? Right? It's more hardship now. You gotta go employ somebody. Right? You gotta go employ somebody to chop bush, take a road and so on. My God. Fastest growing economy. Fastest growing economy in the world. High income country. Biggest GDP per capita. But are we benefiting from it? It's something to think about. Certainly it's something to think about. We saw that. We saw the headline too. Right? Roads and housing and so on. Right? Congrats. We're happy for the people who've been allocated a piece of jungle. How do you know those folks will refuse? You know? You'll be foolhardy to refuse. And people accept. Better can be done. Better can be done. It's an area I'm going to be shadowing, so I have a more than fleeting interest. Shadowed it on and off in the past, but now frontally taking on this and Office of the Prime Minister and Home Affairs, you know, drilling down. Something is adding up. How many of you you're still waiting on a piece of something? You know, you're still waiting. You put in an application, and I know lots of you know people who come after you, get through, and you're still in a waiting list someplace, and you wonder about fairness in this country. You know, fairness in this country, justice in this country. Where you piece of land there? That's the headline I've been looking for. It's right there. You know, how many core homes they ain't giving out. Saw them doing this project with, is it the Saudis? The Saudis give us the funding for 300 homes. Right? And in all this land they're giving out, they can't even finish 300 houses. I ain't telling you about 300 Jagdeo houses. 300 small homes for Guyanese people. No doubt. Very thankful for it. No doubt. But my God. My God. Right? My God. So 28 families got homes under this adequate housing and urban accessibility program. It's quite a mouthful. Right? And they're doing this with the Inter-American Development Bank. It's another project they're doing with the Saudi. Inter-American Development Bank, of which beneficiaries only had to put up $100,000. And even the 300 homes, the Inter-American Development Bank gathered the fund. Couldn't even get that right. Couldn't even get that right. You know? Couldn't even get that right. So the point is, the headlines sometimes are so salacious. When you go and you see, you know, when we took over from this government in 2015, you had the where's the housing development on the East Bank there? You should see those homes. A major amount of time had to be spent just rectifying. Walls falling down, floors crack up. Same thing. Quite a few inexperienced contractors, their friends, family, and favorites. Perseverance and elsewhere. You have to see what a bill for Guyanese people. And that's why I don't take the headlines for granted. I want to talk to the people. Right? What is your lived experience? See, that's what I want to know about. That is what I'd like to know about. The Americans are different. The Americans are different. Remember this fallen NYPD, New York Police Department Detective Randolph Holder. I think it's the 10th that anniversary now. And every year, the NYPD comes. They come and memorialize Randolph Holder. I sometimes wonder about the horror. They must engage every time. So this is where Randolph come from. Look at this place. Look at this place. I know you guys got some, you all got some places in the US, some of these burial grounds and so on. My God, you could eat off the floor. You could go there and picnic. We haven't developed that art of treating our dead with respect. We don't treat the living with respect. We don't treat women and children with respect. So chance the dead got. But they come nonetheless. Right? As they did recently. Saw them at the Brigham Cathedral eulogizing the dead. And Detective Randolph, he was Randolph Holder. Right? The 10th anniversary. Right? Holder was killed in the line of duty in 2015. And at this year's memorial, his fiancé and family members attended, along NYPD officers. Them guys look sharp, boy. Them guys look sharp. And these ain't no pia. These ain't no pia puny officers. These guys are brawny. I saw some standing next to our guys. You gotta look down at them. Them guys imposing. We got some. All right. But I could imagine how they look at us. Look at some of the federal burial grounds in the US, People take pride. People take pride. I look at this one here. Look at this place. Some of the tombs broken. You could stay in your house and say, hey, is Cheryl buried here? Some of the tombs are caving in. Right? We don't make joke for some people tomb there. Yeah. I see people desecrating the dead. Bubbling on people's tomb, backballing. It's not relative, They just pass and say, I can take this tomb here. I can take this tomb here. I see some of y'all see this, y'all say, wow, look at this here. The place look a little neat, man. Look at the grass inside the place look a little neat. Right? You see? You reading what on the line. You're reading what between the line. You see? You could tell somebody passed a brush cutter here because the memorial is happening. Nobody better clean the drains. The green line you see, now that's the drain. Name by the trouble, because you know when the alligator commodity, you know, you might get a blue factory, canary, what have you, right? And then look what the real things look like at the back. That was what the real bell grounds look like. You know, look how many you see all that black there. That's NYPD officers. Then people look like they fly the whole force to Guyana. But you got own plane. Fly the whole force to Guyana to memorialize the dead. And look at we can't even keep a burial ground properly. Right? Them boys trying to shut up City Hall. Trying to shut up City Hall. They say we paving the roads down the burial ground. This is what we're gonna do as we rescue the city. And the project now halt. I know if the money finished, somebody thief it out, what have you. The project halt. Look to your left there. You see down that street there to your left, you see the road halfway. Oh, Father. I'm not carried away by headlines. I'm not carried away by headlines. Right? Maybe it's the family. Pay to we the men and say, oh, yeah, lash down them grass wrong, hold that tomb there. But look, the real thing opposite. 1,300 of you on the live this morning. We got 87 emojis. Father of his mercies. You know, look the real cemetery at the back. Right? You think our government would fly? There's how much? 50 officers for somebody in the US? Yeah. To memorialize them? Yeah. But look at the US. They ain't gonna get approval from Trump, you know. This is a natural part of the system. They ain't gonna get approval. They ain't gonna wait for cabinet approval. Right? And for Trump say, you see what we doing? Better than Joe administration, we sending 50 men to Guyana. You see what we doing? It's a natural part of the culture. To honor the dead, we can't even keep a burial ground clean. Father have his mercies. We can't even keep a burial ground clean. Look, tombs are broken down. Then people are looking at the relatives in a long time. You see? The whole thing cave in. Right? You can look and say, yeah, it's James, it's you? Hey, it's you, James? Is that thing to bury you in? That's how we operate in this country. Father of his mercies. Don't let turn your stomach this early morning. Later on in the program. You know? We got a long way to go. A long way to go. A long way to go. And you see when you keep passing I see when, let me show you how we stay. And I say this, everything is not government. A lot of things is them. But as I've said over the last couple of days, some of it is we. Some of it is us. Some of it is Abby. Some of it is them. When they did the road there, they recapped the road going to the ground, widen it, whatever they did. Going to the cemetery there. Same cemetery, the spirits run out Edgel. Same place. They put up a new fence. A mesh fence. People don't want to go wrong for carrying it there. They just cut the fence. Cut the mesh. Right? They just cut the mesh. Because they got a little space closer to the road there. Why you go all the way around? Engage the jungle. People just cut the fence. Put on the dead and they gone. They gone. Press down the dead and they gone. Some of it is us, man. Some of it is us. I'm driving behind a man, stop at the traffic light. And he stop. He push his head outside and I see he recoils, sir. He pull back. You know what happened there? You know what happened, right? He spit outside on the ground. Me want me car going, I just take a white a white horn. He just spit outside. We got long. Something, everything is people. I tell you about the man paying on Jagjo Bridge. I know the man vexed Jagjo what. Man decided he's just gonna, on that new bridge. Everything is, we gotta put a sign there. Everything is not people. Some of it is us. Some of it is we. You hear me? Some of it is we. It's us and it's we. Telling us the GCOM accountant granted bail. Remember the 5 million that went missing? Pre-election day staff, we told. And that GCOM accountant that was arrested and remanded. Hearing that the accountant was able to secure bail, that's one of the issues that we're looking at. We're hearing that the election fraud cases, that trial has recommenced, right? Some of the issues we are following. Right? Minister of Home Affairs, Onuj Waldron, wants to build a trusted Ghana police force. My Lord. All right, moving on. I could spend some time there. That's another area that I'm going to be shadowing. I could spend some time there. Minister, we can let Minister for another time. You know? Let Minister for another time. That's an area we could spend some time. Okay? So they're doing some ankle bracelet monitoring of domestic violence offenders. You know? Some ministers in the government need some ankle bracelets. You can't trust them as far as you could see them. They need some ankle bracelets. Minister went on to say recently in the interview that low-risk prisoners may get ankle bracelets to work outside. All right. It's part of the new plans for the police force and allied agencies. Low-risk prisoners may get an ankle bracelet. All right. I'm going to leave the minister for another time. You know, as we wrap up, folks. Yeah. Ankle bracelets. I tell you, depends on money you have. You prisoners could go home and come back and visit you now. And you could be serving 100 years. Right? We got a far way to go. A very far way to go. Some of the issues we covered this morning, I saw the former Gold Board chairman, G.H.K. Lal. You know, remember Jack just said, you know, all who conspired with the Mohammeds and so on. Lal said, bring in the FBI. Let me do a full and thorough investigation. I like that kind of gumption. You're backing down. Bring the FBI. Let's have a go at it. Bring in the FBI. Who vex? Bring the FBI. You know? They sure the one the kind of investigation. But as I said, part of making this morning is that we go with talking, the headlines. But see when you drill down, that's why I did the short video on this indictment issue of the Mohammeds and the calling for this very investigation. Not for the sake of Mohammed, but to make the point of how hypocritical this administration is. Because we saw Sue in the living room. Where's that investigation? About ethics, about governance. 2 years ago, Stu was served. The case and call once yet. And this is concerning the vice president of a country. It's not by itself an indictment on the judicial system. What recourse the ordinary man has? If the vice president, a case could take 2-3 years, The common man without name recognition or some high office, how does he fare in this system? GHK Lal says, bring the FBI, man. The CIA, bring NASA, bring whoever. And let's have a thorough, very thorough investigation. Back him. Back him there. Back him. Folks, let's leave it there this morning. We got to run off to some other pursuits. And let us leave it there this morning. Happy to see all of you on the live today. Thank you for your presence. Joseph, Keith, Mandy, Jilly G, Naomi, thank you for your presence here. Eva, thank you so much for your presence here this morning. It means a lot to us. Let's leave it there this morning. We're 46 minutes in. Right? We're going to see you guys on our next broadcast. That being said, folks, we give you out 19 things there, you know. Naomi, subcon girl. You subcon, Naomi. We're going to leave it. Don't even respond. Now we don't even respond. Running off and leave you guys. Some other pursuits. That's our time, folks. And that's our broadcast.